The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning and welcome everyone to today's webinar. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to work on your business instead of in your business. I'm Jennifer Bagley, CEO of CI Web Group, preferred digital marketing agency for Ferguson Air-Cooled, and today we are going to be talking a little bit about how to make your website your best salesperson. CI Web Group has been established since 2006 with an army of over 70 different full-time resources, working on everything from web design, SEO, social media, search engine optimization, and much more. We've got quite a bit of an experience in the HVAC industry. About 70% of our business is currently heating and air conditioning contractors, and we've been working in the industry for close to almost 10 years now. I say that because it's important that you have a little bit of knowledge about who you're working with or who you're getting information from. It's very difficult. I know contractors have a challenge with trying to figure out, who do I trust? How do I figure out or identify a vendor to work with? And you're going to learn some things today that are going to be able to help you ask better questions, make better selections, and be able to evaluate and prioritize what your marketing efforts should look like. What are some of the things you need to have in place? First and foremost, the most important physical asset for your business from a marketing standpoint should be your website. You guys, this is the one thing that acts as a salesperson for you 24/7. It works while you sleep. It is the single sales representative that does not take vacations or holidays or sick days. It can make or break you. You guys, this is probably the single most important thing you can do, is make sure that your website properly represents your company, who you are, what you're about, how long you've been in business, what you stand for. In the HVAC industry, a lot of times I'll see that dealers spend a lot of time trying to make their digital presence look as if they sell equipment. In reality, you guys are selling peace of mind, security. You're selling homeowners with comfort and trust. You're solving problems. You're providing solutions to big problems and issues that they have at their home. Whether their nose is cold or their toes are freezing or their energy bill's too high or they have condensation in their windows or mold growing or they're just simply uncomfortable. Their kids have allergies, the air's not clean, the rooms are different colors. It's incredibly important to make sure that we are connecting on a human level with real people, because these individuals, they have an issue, they have a challenge, and essentially you are this security blanket that is, the disguise for an HVAC company. So before I get into too much more, we've only got an hour reserved here. I'll probably take up about 30 to 45 minutes of your time unless there's a lot of questions. I'm not going to be able to get to everything. So we've got a great gift for you. Ferguson, has really put in a lot of effort to make sure that you guys are getting very, very valuable information. And this is one of the things you guys get for free. So if you go to www.hvacmarketingguide.com, you guys can download a free ebook. And this is the ultimate HVAC marketing guide. It's going to cover a lot of those gaps and holes that I'm not going to be able to get to in this short amount of time. It's going to give you a very point-by-point guide to digital marketing, whether you're just getting started or if you are more advanced, making sure you have the infrastructure in place and those pieces. So I wanted to make sure that we didn't forget. You guys take down that site. It's hvacmarketingguide.com. Download that free ebook, and that's, like I said, that's going to fill in a lot of the gaps that I'm not able to get to just because of time. All right, phase one, where do we start? The very first step for any marketing strategy is to have a formal SWOT analysis done. This is based on a lot of reporting, pulling up data and analysis, and a lot of experience. What's a SWOT analysis? So quite simply, this is broken into 4 different categories. First is strengths. What are your strengths? What are the assets that you have? Are they not being leveraged? Are they being leveraged? You know, really, what do you guys stand for? What physical marketing assets do you have that can propel you forward? So, yes, you've got a great product, obviously. It may be that you have an amazing team. You may have referrals, references, customer testimonials. You may have this amazing letter that somebody wrote you years ago and it's still sitting in your office, but it's just not being leveraged, right? It's this, it's hanging in a picture on your wall. So we have to figure out really, what are your strengths? Do you guys make it easy? Are you fast? Are you on time? Do you provide 24/7 service, emergency service? Are you properly positioned online? Do you have a strong social media presence? Do you have a lot of great content? Maybe it's just sitting in an old website. So evaluating what your strengths are. You could have a domain that's been around for, 50 years. Your father started the company or your grandfather, and that domain, 50-year domain age, that brings a lot of weight and power. So first and foremost is the strengths analysis, determining what are those assets that you have. The second thing is going to be weaknesses. Where are you weak? Where are you, what hurts, essentially? So do you not have a lot of backlinks? Is your website built on old code? Do you have great content, but the code on your site is preventing Google from crawling your site? Are you missing backlinks? Are you investing in pay-per-click? However, you don't have a landing page that's designed to convert, so you're weak in conversions. It's really identified. It might be local listings. Your company, may be weak when it comes to making sure that Google sees how authentic your company is and that the data and information is consistent in the top 70 local listing accounts that are being evaluated by Google. So that's next. What are your weaknesses? The next one everybody loves is, what's the opportunity like? What areas do you have to target? What cities do you have to target? What key phrases are in your area that have high search value but low competition? What search phrases can we get ranked on page 1 of Google in 30 days or less and get the phone ringing? Have you start making some money? Okay. Where are those opportunities? It may be opportunities to leverage digital assets. It may be opportunities to leverage some of those strengths even further and make them stronger. All right, and finally, the last analysis is, what are the threats? And this one gets a little bit sticky, and a lot of times it's ignored. It's not evaluated properly. Threats are those things that can absolutely hurt your business. And you guys, your sales guys are talking to you about digital marketing. They're, making recommendations for you to set up time and participate and learn, information that's going to be helpful for you to market your business. I highly recommend you take advantage of what the sales guys are saying. They get it. I mean, these guys have seen case scenarios we've presented through this SWOT analysis where a dealer may have, 10 listings on I remember this one very specifically. This dealer had 10 listings on the internet that were beautiful. They were branded with his company name. They had his address. They had his website on there. They had information about his company, and they had the phone number, personal phone number of an ex-employee who now worked for a competitor and was actually snagging all of those sales leads that were coming in, but processing them through a different company. That's just awareness. Had he went through the SWOT analysis, he would have had that information, and we could have resolved that much, much earlier. As it stands, it looked like this was going on for years. Okay. Another major threat, negative reviews. Let's say you had the most lofty budget and I've seen this many more times than one, I'll say that. This lofty budget, you guys were powerhouse digital marketing, or powerhouses at digital marketing. You had a great agency. You guys were really making progress. You're ranked on page 1, position 1 at Google for over 200, 300, 400 key phrases in 5, 6, 7 major cities that you want to do business in. And you cannot figure out why you're not converting. If you're ranked and sitting in that position, but your phone's not ringing, one of the areas is in this threat analysis is negative reviews or no reviews. I've had too many cases where we've got great performance in one area, but when the consumer ultimately finds the company, the next thing they're looking for is, what do other people think about you? We have to remember, consumers will always believe what someone else says much more than they are going to believe what you say about yourself. So that third-party validation is really important, but it can work for you either way, for or against. Not having the reviews that are necessary is actually a threat, because it's threatening the power and the leverage of your marketing dollars. Every dollar you invest, it's not going to be leveraged if a consumer is finding you. You are now an option. You don't even know it at this stage. They're doing their research. One of the things they're looking at is your company name with the word reviews, what shows up on Google Business Listing, what kind of reviews do you have on your Facebook page. They're looking at third-party websites to evaluate and make that decision, and that's expensive. So going through this SWOT analysis, very, very important, you guys. That's one of the things I'll show you how to get signed up for that. Of course, best way to do it, call your TM, call your sales guy, and have a conversation with them about it. But this is one of the things absolutely complimentary we will do for you, is do these evaluations, pull these reports, go over them with you, and pull together the SWOT analysis. And this is really where you need to start, is making sure you've got the information to help you make better decisions. Your time is valuable. Your decisions are priceless. This is one of those moments that you have to just pause for a second and remind you that your ability to be able to grow is dependent on your ability to increase and improve your profit margins, the overall profitability of the company. We have to make sure that we're doing things that are not only going to help you create new sales opportunities and generate new leads, we also have to make sure that when you're investing in technology, you're investing in marketing efforts, you're investing in a website, that you're doing so with operational efficiencies in mind. In order to become more profitable, we have to reduce operational expenses, increase operational efficiencies, increase leads and opportunities, increase conversions, and increase sales, our closing. The combination of these things together is what creates better margins and higher profits. So depending on where you're at, and that's something that comes out of the SWOT, is, are you sitting in a position where you have more leads than you have staff to be able to fill them? That still is an opportunity for a website to be able to come in and help with that, whether it's recruiting, identifying, finding new high-quality technicians and installers and so forth. If it is, building, we have a lot of dealers that we've helped them build a portfolio of resumes that they're able to pull from. And their website can do this. You can optimize your website for specific job titles, specific job positions. So if that's your challenge, that's fixable through marketing. A lot of people don't consider that marketing, but it absolutely is. So if staffing's a challenge, there's plenty of business in your area. You guys are good on that. We still need to look at, how does your website help you accomplish that and improve that so that you can grow. If you're not looking to grow, but maybe time is important to you, freedom is important to you, you want to be able to do more with less use of your time, same thing, creating those operational efficiencies. And if the bottom line is you guys want the phone to ring, I get it. So we're really diving into how do people shop, how do they buy. And by the way, the next month's webinar, you guys don't want to miss that. So make sure you register if you're not registered for that. It's all about how the seasons are changing and what are the search engine optimization strategies you can put into place in order to be able to properly position yourself through fall, through winter, and into spring. So time is valuable, decisions are priceless, knowledge is power. So let's take an opportunity to get in there. Now, adoption, mindset, budget, commitment. This page is important, or this segment's important, because your ability to commit to the process it's part of the puzzle. You guys, the digital marketing space, what does it take to truly succeed? You guys, it's complicated. It is making sure you have perfectly written code. You have designed a website that's created to convert. You have content that's for search engines. That's lower quality content, less expensive, strictly designed for Google or a robot. That's usually where people will start off if they have a smaller budget in the beginning. And what ultimately has to happen is once you start ranking and you start showing up on page one at Google, your traffic increases and you guys are generating new eyeballs that are looking at your site, that content has to be improved. It has to be moved up to the next phase, which is authority content, high quality content. It's more expensive, it takes longer to write, but it's more powerful and it's designed for not only robots, which is Google, but it's also designed for humans. It's designed for people. There's an emotional connection, a bond with the content. These copywriters are much different than the ones that are technical writers for SEO or technical writers for HVAC. These guys know how to connect with the human mind and heart, and they are CROs, which is conversion rate optimization experts. Totally different process. So when I say commitment, it is just that. It's having the mindset going into this process knowing, oh my gosh, it's big and this is a never-ending story. I feel like singing the song. It's never, okay, I won't do that. But it's a never-ending story because by the time you get it down, it changes and it evolves and consumer habits change, technology, devices, what social media site is hot. Everything is going to continue to evolve. So having the mindset, the adoption that technology is going to change the way consumers identify and find product and services. It's going to change how they feel when they're going through the research process. It's going to change their ability to do their own analysis and make decisions. Most consumers are making the decision whether or not to do business with you before you ever have a conversation with them. It's not being done at the table. So if you're evaluating your wins and losses from the dining room table or someone's office in that presentation, remember that the wins and losses are much, much, much greater earlier up the supply chain when consumers are out there and they're searching. They're looking for the solutions. They're looking for products and services that are going to help them. And first off, are you an option? If you are an option, are you the trusted option? Are you the one that stands out with the best reviews, most reviews? You made it the easiest for somebody to do business with you. You allowed them to book an appointment with you in the future. You allowed them to place a phone call from a click to call, tapping their phone, and your number automatically just dialed from their phone. So adoption it starts with your mindset. How do you think? However you think today has gotten you the results you have now. In order for us to get new results, we have to change how we think. So being able to go through that process and learn and to really commit to the fact that the world is changing. Technology is changing how human behavior reacts, responds, feels, communicates, connects, converts. And we got to, if we want to play that game, now's the time. Budgets. When you are first getting started, when you're in the beginning stages, Usually for a small business, they haven't got to the point where they're setting budgets yet. It's not in their normal mode of operation to go through their annual budget processing, identify what is my gross sales, what are my operational expenses, what percent is being allocated to marketing, what percent is going to digital versus print, and so forth. They're not there yet. So that's the first stage, is getting to the point where budgeting for marketing and being able to properly allocate the right percentages to the right buckets becomes part of your standard mode of operation. And if you're really good, this is done on a quarterly basis as you grow. The second element to budgeting is knowing that in the beginning, it's about what do I want to spend? In the end, it's about how do I want to grow? When you get to the point where a marketing agency can show you that, look, for $30 a month, you're able to get, 3 key phrases ranked on page 1 of Google, generate X number of web inquiries, and close X number of deals for new installations. That's a math game. You're no longer thinking about what am I going to spend? You're thinking about how do I want to grow? What kind of leads do I want? What cities? What key phrases? What products do I want to bring to market? How am I going to position myself? And it's interesting when we talk to dealers, and they'll say, well, how much does it cost? I have no idea. I don't know how aggressive you are. I don't know where you want to go. I don't know, what your needs are. So obviously SWOT analysis. And I'll say, I've got clients that, have amazing relationships with their manufacturer, hint, hint, and they have contributions and so forth. And they may have, $6,000, $12,000, and so forth per year that's invested. And I have dealers that have spent $30,000 without blinking an eye, and they're, immediately they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's $30,000 a month. Are you serious? Why would anybody spend that?" I promise you, when you look at their bottom line and you see how much they make, they don't care about the $30,000. That does not, when you are to that level, that's a drop in the bucket compared to the kind of revenue they're actually making. So as you grow and you get comfortable, and I know that's hard because a lot of HVAC companies have been burned in the digital marketing space. They've been, see, now I'll sing for you. Promises, promises. Okay, so, right? You got lots of promises, but nothing delivered. And that's a scary position to be in. So when you get there, it makes it an easy decision. All right, so next is planning. You guys can't do this alone. Being able to understand, what is your buyer persona? How do they think? What are the personality styles that drive them to make decisions? And how do you connect with those personality styles? Also, drilling in, one of the buyer personas, and it's the first one you have to meet, is Google. And it doesn't have a heart. It has, it's this mathematical equation, and being able to identify, what does it want? Because ultimately you have to please Google first in order to be able to have an opportunity to present to people. All right. So figuring out, where do you want to go? What does the market look like? Where are the homes or residents or businesses that you want to target? How are they looking? What do they search for? And knowing those phrases is part of the planning process. So there's a lot of research that goes into this in the beginning. And then identifying, what is the content that's necessary on your website in order to properly position yourself. If you think about Google, it's just a giant filing system. No content, nothing to file. If you want to get found in 20 different cities, but there is not great content written for those cities, and not just great once, great and current. Google wants to know, are you current? Are you trusted? And are you relevant? So current, that's the frequency of new content. So for a lot of our dealers, the way that they get current content by location is through a reviews application. We've got a mobile app, tie it up to their phone, have their technicians request reviews every time they're on site at a consumer's home. Boom, they get the review. It's tagged to the geolocation of their phone, and we've got new content for a location page for a city that they are already doing business in and want to do more business in. That's one example. Are you relevant? That has to do with the labeling of the content. If I put content on my website and it says our services or residential or installation, what kind of things can I install? Pretty much anything, right? I can install a light switch. Okay, so the content has to be geared towards the buyer persona and the phrases that they're looking for, by location, by product, by service, by question. Okay, so if they're saying how much or what's the difference, or when should I replace my heating and air conditioning system, and so forth. If they're asking questions to Google, if you don't have digital content in a text-based format with accessorial things, and if it's not high quality, then you may be able to get ranked, but you won't be able to convert. So the inexpensive start off with the low quality content, focus strictly on Google. Why? Because you don't have any people looking at your website in the beginning. And once you start getting traffic, upgrade. Keep adding more content, better content, improve the quality of the content that's there, make sure that it's high quality, keep moving. So the planning process, this is no different than if I invite you over for a barbecue. In order for me to get you to my house, I've got to know where you are, where you need to go, and then I can plan, the roadmap to get you there. All right. Infrastructure, code, and design. You notice how content is on everything because it's your voice. Actually, next week or during the next session, you guys are going to get a poem about that. You'll love it. It's worth it just to attend for just that. Okay. So infrastructure, code, and design. Not all websites are created equal, you guys. You have websites are like cars when you're reading the book. So remember, HVACmarketingguide.com, download the ebook. There's a section in there that talks about code and design. Two different things. When you're getting a website done, you have the infrastructure, which is the code, the framework. So in the book, I'm comparing it to cars, right? You've got a mass production car, something that's built for mass production. There's not a lot of energy put into the infrastructure, the engine, the framework, the code behind the car. Same thing with websites. Web.com, GoDaddy websites, even Google websites, Wix websites. I said web.com. YP websites, biggest one. No, run. Okay, so YP websites. You guys, these are really big companies that mass produce a templatized website based on code that is old and outdated. I know you have zero interest in this. However, if you watched Google's webmaster requirements and the coding, the industry standards and requirements for code. These are nerds, right? This is the guy sitting back with this techno music on, jamming out. His garage is actually considered a living space. He's a coder. He's a developer. They're different. They're different. So if you ask a coder, this is not a designer. They don't make pretty things. They live in the matrix, right? Black page, green text. None of them can spell because they write in code. They're different people. So all too often, if you ask them, how is code changing? How is the requirements changing? Industry standards. What kind of code is required by search engine, by device, for different rendering on different devices. Right now in the HVAC industry, it's definitely a challenge because, we're still trying to catch up and figure out if cell phones are popular. There's still websites out there that are not mobile responsive. You guys are being targeted by so many of these big mass production templatized companies that are popping up websites that are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 versions and generations behind today's requirements for coding standards. Problem with that is, if you spend a penny on marketing, a penny on SEO, and you're sitting on a car or an infrastructure a code platform and database that doesn't perform, it's just burning and churning cash. You're just throwing away money. It's like up in smoke. So the other part about this is that it's hard for people to evaluate because you can't see it, right? It doesn't have a hood. You can't, I mean, well, it does. I can tell you, right click on any website and click inspect element. And that's like lifting up the hood of a car. Okay. It'll actually let you go in and see what's going on with the code. Is it too much code to content? Or too much code to text? You get dinged for that. Do you have inline styling? You get dinged for that. Do you have non-object oriented database? You get dinged for that. Do you have a non-responsive website? Absolutely. Google said it's going to penalize you for not having a responsive website that's designed to reshape, restructure using responsive, it's global cascading style sheets. Not a mobile version of your website. That's old school, no-go. Google already said don't do that. That came out in 2014, big mobile get-in. Sometimes people say, my website works fine on a mobile device. It might work fine, but if it's a mobile version, again, we're still violating the laws and rules of Google. So you have the secondary type of car that I reference in that is, with something like a Ferrari, right? Gorgeous body, built for performance. Definitely more expensive, takes longer to get built, but the car is designed for and I have no clue if a Ferrari is a good example, so I probably shouldn't use cars. But it's not mass production. There's more energy and time and dollars and cents and thought and engineering that goes in behind that. That's comparable to WordPress in a website environment. WordPress is the largest content management system in the world with millions and millions and millions of developers, coders, matrix guys, all jamming out and contributing to a code base dependent on where industry standards are right now. Okay. Genius. Why would you not use a platform that installed with zero effort already comes with millions of hours of development time from experts from around the world focused on staying up to date with the general public license and where websites are going. All right. So then designers become important. All right. Websites, your code, your platform. You guys, this is, if it was an enterprise company, technically, websites are modified and code is modified on a monthly basis. For a large company, that's what they do. For a small business, very important. Your website only lasts, the life cycle is about 18 to 24 months, and that's in the Ferrari. That's in the middle section. That's before it starts underperforming, potentially having security issues. That's your timeline. Okay, so being on a refresh plan where your agency is redesigning and developing your website every 18 to 24 months. It's part of your normal process. It's not some big investment every time you do it. That's important. Otherwise, you wind up again, building it. Performance goes up, boom. Requirements change from search engines. Code standards change. Performance start to come down. And we don't want something that's not a valuable asset. All right, and the final version, I used the reference in there, is a Tesla. This is a car that's manufactured by a technology company. Totally custom. So are we there? No. Is that something you guys need to be considering? No, you do not. It is not necessary for you to spend, and I've seen this a handful of times, money on a completely hard-coded custom website. You guys don't have to do that. So if somebody wants to start from scratch, it's a coder, and they get all wide-eyed because that's fun to them, just say no. Use a content management system that already has power. All right. So code, be careful of the little ones. If it's fast, cheap, and easy, probably not worth its weight. Okay. Design. That's usually what you guys are basing your opinions on. And I'll tell you, in the book, we've got a great, section that talks about design, and it can make or break you. Too much design, it can weight the site down. It can make it slow to render. It can take things that should be crawlable text items and written in code and put them into something Google can't crawl. It can hurt performance. So design it, you got to be really, really careful. Designers have to be managed properly by an engineer. An engineer is going to tell you how consumers search, what they're looking for, what parts of a website, and they use heat maps on these, are going to convert. You know, your top right corner, heavily used for your primary conversions. Schedule service, sign up for maintenance, apply for financing, and so forth. Left side, logo. They're going to know every one of those areas that perform the best. And that's because these engineers, these are SEO engineers, they're analytical by nature and they know what works, or they're conversion rate optimization experts. Designers like to paint pretty pictures. So it's a combination of making sure that the designer, you know, these guys work in Photoshop, they're creative, they have friends, they dress nice. So they have some style and class, right? But they have to be managed. They have to have an engineer who knows the data. All right. So right out of the gate, when a consumer comes to your website, they have an immediate feeling. What is your feeling about welcoming somebody into your home? When somebody comes to your site, how do you feel? How do they feel? Does it look like, you know, your website was designed or built by, I call them the triple Fs, friends, family, and fools? Is it scary? Does it look like you may be small or unprofessional or not current or not relevant or not up to date? In the HVAC industry, consumers are expecting technology to be great, right? They're expecting higher efficiency systems, better opportunity for smart living through programmable thermostats and smart applications on their phone. They're expecting high tech when it comes to the technology and the equipment. So why would they not expect the same thing when it comes to your website? And again, this is one of those things. The immediate response is to be defensive and say, nah, my website looks fine. And we're not losing any business. We have plenty of business that, you know, we get from our website. The real response is you don't know what you don't know. And by not having an evaluation done and, you know, having kind of a reality check on what does a consumer feel? How do they struggle when they get to your site? Can they click the number to call? Do you make it easy? Can they come in, sit down, you know, stay a while? Can they have a glass of wine while they're looking around your site? Can they make a decision quickly? If they only have 5 minutes at a stoplight, do you make it easy for them to be able to come to your site, know who you are, what you do, where you do it, how to reach you, and they don't have time to call you right now? Do you give them an opportunity to fill out a form and schedule an appointment with you for 5 days from now on their lunch break, so at least they can go home and have that checked off their honey to-do list and tell wifey, you know what, I took care of that, we got an appointment on Friday. Never even talking to you. Okay, so we need to get there. The basics, as I mentioned, who you are, what you do, how to reach you, where you serve, what other people think about you, how to leave feedback. When somebody gets to your site, these are the immediates. These are what they have to know. Who you are, what you do, where you do it, how to reach you, what do other people think about you, and can they leave feedback? You do not want them to have to crawl, sift, sort, click, navigate anywhere on your website to find out the basics. These are the things a consumer must know. You want them to feel at home when they get there. If they go to your site and you've got palm trees and beach and it's paradise, but you're sitting in the middle of the mountains in Colorado, and they're confused, right? They live in the mountains. Your office is in the mountains, but when they get to your website, there's palm trees, and it doesn't have these things to really clearly express, you know, we don't want to be in the mountains. We want a vacation at the beach. So we have to make sure that they feel at home when they get there. They feel at home, that they have the necessary things. As they're navigating around the site, do they have the ability always? Do they have a call to action on the site? Whether it's your phone number stuck at the top, whether it's your scheduling system, an online contact us form, but it doesn't move. As they navigate the site, you don't want to leave a consumer without a way to convert. Never. Anywhere on the website. All right. They want to know, again, they don't care what you say. If you have a giant banner at the top and it says #1 HVAC company in blank, that's not what they're interested in. They want to know, what do your customers think? And they don't just want to know They don't just want to see the list of 10 fake testimonials that you put on your website that we wrote ourselves. Okay, so they want to see real transparency. So that's why they're going to go to Google or Facebook, and they're going to start looking in other areas, because they're looking for that transparency, that authentication, that the verification that the review is real. So if you're going to have reviews and testimonials on your website, highly recommend you use the mobile app with the verified reviews. This is phase 2 if you're just getting started. Very important. Okay, so I keep talking about content. One page, one thought. Again, content is king. In the beginning, a lot of times, when you're first getting started, you don't have. This isn't something most people budget for. They don't set aside and go, okay, I'm going to spend $1,000 a month on content. That's not normal. They don't think about that. But content is your voice. It's your ability to communicate. It's your voice online. It's the single thing that allows you to get filed or put into the proper drawer in Google. It's what's representing you, speaking to your customers while you're there. So I get it. In the beginning, a lot of times, we're missing the basics. The basics for you guys are pretty simple. You got to have one page, one thought by product and service. That's first and foremost. And if budgets are less, probably going to start off with, again, search engine optimization based content. The primary pages you've got to have right out of the gate: AC repair, AC service, AC maintenance, AC installation, AC replacement, AC tune-up. Secondary pages, well, right now I'm freezing, so these should be your primaries. You have to have either heater or furnace, depending on where you're at, or both. Furnace repair, furnace service, furnace installation, furnace replacement, furnace change-out, furnace maintenance, furnace tune-up. So you got 12 pages of content you got to get done right out of the gate. Working with a CRO or a conversion rate optimization or high quality content writer, sometimes that's not in the bag of tricks right out of the gate. So start off with SEO content, less expensive, not great quality, but no one's seeing it if you're not ranking on page 1 of Google. So you've got a little bit of time. Buy you the time. Use that content to get you going, get you to start getting ranked on Google. And once your website becomes visible on that first page of Google, upgrade. Start improving that content, whether you guys are writing it yourself or you're bringing on or having a high quality content writer enhance that content. Do that over time. Very, very important. All right. You also need content, your mission, about us, value proposition. So inside the book, there's an entire section that's on, it's the authentication process Google goes through to evaluate your company and are you authentic. So there's 7 steps in there. One of the things Google looks at is your About Us page. And, this is one of those things, a lot of times you got to write that on your own, or at least get the basics out on paper, and then you can have somebody, add to it. But the one-liner, the 2 sentences, take time for this. It's as important as your domain registrar, okay, your URL. When you buy a website, you have a URL, a website address, www.mycompany.com. Okay, that's your URL. And that is owned by a company inside of a domain registrar. Hopefully that company is you. That's usually the first thing we find out in the threat part of the SWOT analysis, that somebody doesn't own their domain name because their web company snagged it. That's not okay. Very important. Part of the verification process is Google owns ICANN. ICANN is the top domain registrar that doesn't sell domains, because it gives them the ability to evaluate ownership of domains, making sure that the company is legitimate, that there's legitimate contacts, that the domain registrar information for that URL matches the domain information on the website. For obvious reasons, you don't want to have your web company purchase your site, because that's yours. You should own it. Very important. The secondary reason is for authentication. Google wants to see that. It wants to make sure that those match. Those are records. That's a record validation. No different than your About Us page or blog page. Making sure you have content, making sure that your address is properly pinned on your website, Google Map is placed on your site, your contact us page, and so forth. So one page, one thought. Don't mix up content. You don't want to have a page on your site that says heating and air conditioning services. Those are two different times of the year. two different pieces of equipment. Two very, very different needs and reasons why somebody, like one's hot, one's cold. So very different reasons. You don't want to mix that content up. I see web people that are not familiar with your industry do it all the time, and they just don't know any better. You guys have seasons and they matter. So, all right. So by service area, making sure that you have one page per city or service area. If you want to do business in a particular city, having a Google Maps page and a physical office there with positive reviews, absolutely. That's going to help you get ranked in that city. That's the easiest place for you to get ranked. My guess is if you go through a SWOT analysis, that's not the only city you want to do business in. So in order for you to show Google, remember, Google's deaf and blind. It only reads by Braille content, text on a page. If you want to show Google that you provide services in surrounding cities, you have to have pages that are strictly geared towards those individual cities. One page, one thought, one page, one city, one page, one product, one page, one service. B, you have to have frequent content. Google wants to know, are you relevant? That's the labeling on the page. Are you current? That's the frequency of new content. And the third element, in order to get that page moved up the ranks, are you trusted? And no, you can't tell Google, trust me. Third-party endorsements, backlinks, reviews, social media, social bookmarking. So we get into more of the marketing pieces. All right. Blogs, same thing. Are you relevant? One of the biggest evaluation thing Google is looking at. When was the last time you updated your website? From a code standpoint, that's one. Technical updates, it's also looking at content. Are you adding content on a frequent basis? Don't get creative with this. Don't go in and create an area on your site that says articles, news. No, it's not looking for that. Today it's called blog. Just go with it. Four-letter word. Not everybody loves, but that's what Google's scanning for. All right. Valuable resources. Be the answer. Your consumers are asking questions. Whoever's answering the phone, your technicians, your sales guys, sales reps, they're talking to consumers all the time. What are those questions? What are they asking? If they're asking you in person, you better bet they're asking that same information or that same question. They're looking for it online. So do you have the question? Do you have the answer? No, not on your FAQ page. FAQs are not properly indexed by Google because it's too generic. It's I call them the taste like chicken pages. Everything just tastes like chicken. Right? It could be a rat. Okay, FAQ too generic. Our services too generic. Make sure that that's part of your blog. What's the questions consumers are answering? All right, additional engagement factors. There's some basics you guys have. Real basics. Very, very important. You've got to be able to connect with consumers, and these guys are all different depending on how you're creating your leads, right? You have existing customers that are coming back for more. Love them. Absolutely love them, right? They just want to schedule service. They want to sign up for their maintenance program. You told them about it when you did the install. You got to have a home for current customers. So in my account area, the ability to easily schedule service, maintenance, so forth. Okay. And sometimes, the ones who are more advanced, they'll have a mobile app that they can do a lot of that on. Next, so sign up for maintenance, schedule service, apply for financing. Your next area is going to be consumers who find you online. And even when they find you online, there's still different qualities of relationships depending on how they found you online. If they did an organic search, they went to Google, they got on their phone, they talked to Siri, they talked to their watch, and they asked Google a question, I need an AC service repairman in blank, or AC installation or furnace installation blank, whatever my city is. If they are looking for you in the organic placement area on Google, then they're going to be a more educated consumer, more technical consumer, I should say, not educated as an HVAC, just in how to use Google, okay? And they know how to research. They love the fact that all the information they need to make a decision is at the tips of their fingers without ever talking to you. All right. If they come in through pay-per-click, that's different. These are individuals that are clicking on ads, probably not as tech savvy as those who are not going to go the ads route because they know one's paid for and one's not. So you got a little bit more work to do. You got to keep them more centered inside a landing page. If they're going through pay-per-click, you got to be able to measure it. You need to have some automation put in place to stay in touch with them and so forth. Promotions. I go to a lot of websites right now, and we are rolling into winter in many areas. If you're sitting in Utah, it's getting cold. So having all of your air conditioning rebates and AC installation and AC checkups and tune-ups and all that promotions right now, that doesn't make sense. If you want to have everything on your site, promotions for fall and spring, your tune-ups and maintenance and service, great. You want to have winter and summer on there, great. But bucket them by that. Allow a consumer to choose and pick. Let me see your winter ads. Let me see your summer ads. Let me see your spring, fall, and so forth. And then you don't have to worry about changing them out all the time. But at least it's relative to the season. Your phone number, it's got to be click to call. It means if I go to your website and I tap on that number, boom, my phone should ring. If the response is, well, if I'm on my website and I tap it, nothing happens. But if I pull it up from my phone, it clicks to call. That's good progress, but we're missing the middle portion, which is everybody that's on a tablet. Right in front of me, I have an 18-inch tablet, I have a 10-inch tablet, I have 4 12-inch tablets and a 7-inch tablet just in this room. So we got to make sure your phone number is properly coded, and Google wants to know, it's a Google protocol that shows that the phone number is a click to call. Troubleshooting. You guys, the last thing you want to do is have a customer bring you out to their home for service. You guys go in, you flip the switch on a breaker, send them a bill for $69, $89, $129, whatever your rate is, and they leave you a negative review. It costs a heck of a lot more to minimize or move a negative review back or have a negative review prevent you from getting new customers than it does to let the consumer troubleshoot the basics. Do they have a battery in their thermostat? Is their breaker flipped on? What are the things? And then if it doesn't fix it, great. The system's going to tell them to contact a technician or schedule you guys for service. If it does fix it, you just create a relationship with a consumer that's very hard to get. They actually found your website helpful and useful, and they'll bookmark it and come back and use it again in the future. So you're bucketing those leads away for the future. SARE calculator. We're working on a heating calculator. We don't have that yet, but for the SARE calculator, that's simple. You got to be able to communicate with them and talk to them about what is the overall savings. FAQ, terminology. They don't know what SARE is. So we should probably start there. All right, so biggest thing is engagements. Give them the ability to sign up for promotions, and that can get sophisticated. If you're a little bit more advanced in the digital marketing, then signing up for promotions, that should be tied to a sequence campaign. The sequence campaign should do some automated sales sequences for you and try and bring in some of that business without you having to go through the effort. Automated email newsletter sequences, request an estimate. A lot of times, I had just looked at an HVAC site the other day and he said, sign up. I was like, for what? Well, like, why? Why would anybody sign up on an HVAC site? Contact us. Quote, every language or call to action language and the design, the color of the button, the position of the button, where it is, produces a good, better, or negative or no result. So we're going for better, best, right? So being careful, designers, they don't think about it. They don't know your industry. Consumers, if they think they can get an online estimate, watch how much information they'll give you. Online estimate. When we saw that first work, it was stunning. They will tell you when they bought their house, what year they bought their house, how many floors they have, how many rooms they have, how many square feet they have, how many systems or units they have, whether they're upstairs, in an attic, what their crawl space is like. They will tell you everything because they think if they fill out this web form with all this information, boom, it's going to spit out a price. Okay, so there's tons of other things in here. Bottom line is when we get into websites, you know, it's almost impossible to talk about creating, this strong and powerful website without touching on content and search and social and your algorithms and getting indexed by Google and all of these things. There's just so many elements to it. So without getting overwhelmed, because that's easy to do, the first thing is just ease into it. Start with the SWOT analysis, get those reports. Let's figure out a base point. Where are you starting at? What's working, what's not working, where do you want to go? And then we can figure out how to get there. Then it's committing to the process. Like I said earlier, you guys, it requires a new mindset to drive new results. Very, very important. These are some of the free results that are, or free results. These are some of the free reports that are part of this SWOT analysis and free strategy session. You guys have the ability to set up with us. Thank you to Ferguson. Thank you to your guys' TSMs. They're taking care of these. You can easily get on our calendar. There's a few different ways to do that. One, you can go to Ferguson BDC, which is Business Development Center. I love that they focus on you guys. And there's a little button right at the bottom right-hand corner. It says schedule now. You can start with that. And, once you submit that, we'll start working on your reports, get your strategy session on the calendar, and go through those with you. Another way, if you guys are watching this on the road, you're listening, you're up in an attic or crawl space, you're listening to this, laying in bed later, you guys can easily text us. This is the fastest way to get on board. So open up your phone, click on the text message icon, and type in 44222. In the message area, just write the word Ferguson and hit send. Okay, so in the number area, it's 44222. In the message area, you just type in Ferguson. Don't let it autocorrect it, so be careful with that. Don't use a quote. And then hit send. You're going to get a message back that say it was received. Please respond with only your email. So then type in your email address, hit send. Boom, we will get a notification. Again, my analysts will start going through and pulling reports for you. They will reach out to you. They will personally set up time to do a strategy session and report review with you as well. Another easy way, CIFreereports.com. So there's so many ways you guys can get involved. As we wrap up here, I'm going to help you guys out. So one thing is, when you attend the webinars and you attend them live, you have the opportunity to earn ICP training credits. Very, very important, but you have to take the survey at the end of the webinar. So this is not for people that watch the recording later, not for the archives. This is for people who attend live. You took the time, you deserve this, but you got to answer these questions. They're going to be sent to you as soon as this is done, so I'm going to help you. You've sat through an hour with me, laughing at my own jokes. So first one is SWOT. What does it stand for? Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Second question. This one, I just had to make it easy. Content is, survey says, king. All right, third. So I gave you a whole bunch of them, but it's going to give you some options. What are 3 primary call to actions? 3 primaries for you guys. So they're easy, right? Schedule service, apply for financing, request an estimate, sign up for a promotion, sign up for maintenance. There's 3. I think I went over like 15 call to actions you should have somewhere integrated on your site. All right. What are the 4 basic things you must have in the header area of your website, which the nerds call it above the fold, without anybody moving? Who you are, what you do, where you do it, and how others feel about you. Okay? Who you are, what you do, where you do it, how others feel about you. There's a handful more. If you remember those, you're more than welcome to choose those as well. All right, with that, you guys, I hope that this was helpful. And again, easiest way to get set up, shoot us that text message. We'll get started. And on the money, it is 8:59. Let me just double check. Throughout the webinar, you guys are always more than welcome to ask questions.
It's 9 o'clock.
And at this point, I don't have any questions. So with that being said, thank you again. Please get registered for the next webinar. Show up, participate. And I had my son had a sign on his wall, and I thought it was brilliant. It was in elementary school. It was in the gym. It said, "Show up, suit up, and participate." You guys do this. Commit to the process to invest in your business, to educate yourself, to continue to learn, to continue to empower yourself with new information that's going to take you to the next level. And boom, next year is going to look like a different year than this year, and we'll continue to do the same thing. We're committed to you. Ferguson is committed to you, your growth, and everything else. So take advantage. All right. Thanks again. Have a great week. Make it productive. And we look forward to seeing you either on the strategy session or at the next webinar.